How can a person get away from phobia? If you look at the anatomy of phobia, it is being in a situation where you perceive something damaging may happen to you but never actually happens. There is a difference between fear and phobia. Phobia is a specific type of fear. In fear, it's always all uncertain. In phobia, you say, these are the set of circumstances in which something bad can happen to me. The best thing, the best way to get rid of phobia is to, when you are in that situation, you write down your fear. What can happen to me and what will happen to me? In my ashram in India, I have people come all the time who are suffering from phobias and fears and depression and anxiety and other mental disorders. Just by being in a calming surrounding, it almost always goes away. There was a man once in Toronto. This goes back to 2005. He had claustrophobia, which means he could not go in a tight space. He felt greatly anxious. One time he was in a lift, in the elevator, and it got stuck in the middle. And he was in the elevator for almost an hour. That was the moment when he developed it. Thereafter, he could not board flights. He could not go in lifts. It really bothered him. He kept working for the same company only because it was a wide structure. He could just climb up the stairs and would not need to take a lift. So I met him. He said, I've never been able to sleep peacefully. I can't remember the last time I slept in peace. Mind you, this guy was a multimillionaire. So materially, there were no fears. He could retire that day and not have to worry about his life. He was in his early 40s at that time. And I said, I believe in Vedic sounds. At that time, I had been experimenting with mantra science for quite a while. And I said, you and I share that common belief. You have certain devotion towards Veda because it is part of your religion. So that inherent faith is there. If you just listen to what I have to say, I'm going to chant some stuff, you will never feel claustrophobic again, I promise you. And tonight, you will have the most amazing sleep of your night, your life. And I touched him, and I chanted from Yajurveda. Did not even expose my mantras to him. And that night, he slept most peacefully like a baby. Which he told me the following morning. He said, last night I really slept well. And he really then started a business which he grew really well because he was no longer afraid. In the beginning, he did not believe that this actually happened. He was carrying medication the doctor had prescribed, that you take this and you will be able to fly. But he never needed to take that medication. When you are holding within you lot of stuff, then there is a great chance you have given yourself the reason to be fearful. You have given yourself the reason to have phobias. When you cannot let go, when you cannot empty yourself. Because fear, think of the finest crystalware. Each fear is like crystalware. It's exquisite, it's precious. Somehow that's why you're holding on to it. But it is also fragile. Now imagine holding a bag of so many fragile items. You will always have the fear it may break. Everything, most activities are simply outlets. If you are able to let go, and that can come with analysis, if you just write down what all I'm holding on to, you will become aware of your list. If you go to a house that looks even most empty, you don't know how much is in it until you start moving. When you are packing, that's when you realize, oh, we still have this? There's so much. And it takes time to adjust then into the new house if you move. So this change of mindset is going to take a little bit of time. From being so full to being very receptive, very empty. That transition may be a little painful. But if you stick with it, you will get over your fears and phobias. As soon as you define a fear, it almost always goes away, or you know the source. Because fear is always in anticipation. It is always what may happen, never at what is happening. Then you're too worried, firefighting, you know. Before the house is on fire, you were worried, what if the house, catches fire? But if it is happening, then you're just busy hosing down. So, if you take a step back, analyze, ask yourself, you will know what is your fear to begin with. There was a story, I'll just finish this, then get to the next question. A man was always very positive. And this really bothered his friends. How can this guy be happy all the time? Something must be wrong with him. How come he is not bothered? He's always smiling and he's always saying, anything bad would happen, he would say, it might have been worse. It could have been worse. So his friend one day said to him, he said, I'm really scared today. He said, why? What happened? He said, last night I dreamed that I met a car accident. I was in a car accident and I lost my life. These messengers of Yama came and dragged me all the way to hell. And there they started skinning me alive. And there was a pot of boiling oil. They said, this is where you're going in next. And they lifted me with no effort and put me in there. And just when I was getting fried, I got up. He said, don't be scared. It could have been worse. He said, what do you mean it could have been worse? I died. How could it have been worse? He said, it could have been true. Then it would have been worse. Most of your fears never come true. Have you noticed it? You are in fear, you're in phobia because you are not allowing yourself to come out of this. Somehow you have found your sense of security in a life full of fear, in a life full of stress. Somehow this looks normal. If people go on a vacation, they say, what I'm going to do? They feel this itch. I have to get online. I have to send emails. I have to do my work. Because they've gotten used to a certain lifestyle. It's just like that, you've gotten used to certain mindsets. If you change it, your life changes.